Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University.
Namaskar dear students, welcome to the Chaitanya studio. We are in the lecture series of Object Oriented Programming using C++. My name is Zeel Sagar Shah, working as an assistant professor in School of Computer Science in Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University. So, let's see today's lecture in detail. In the last lecture, we have studied about the decision and control structures, and in today we are going to discuss about array in detail. We are in the unit 6 array, pointer and structure unit in the block 2. So let's see the introduction of array first, and why we need array. We have seen so far how we have initialized one variable in our program. Now we will see how we will initialize array. So why we need array? It is very difficult to write a program in C++ using large data type like addition of 50 integers, marks of student in university, etc. So C++ program provides a solution called array. It is easy to manipulate our large data of items in array. Now first we will see what is array. A consecutive storage location referred by a single name to store a homogeneous data type. In a simple terms, an array is a fixed size sequence collection of elements of the same data type. It is simply a grouping of like type data. In its simplest form, an array can be used to represent a list of numbers or a list of names. So let's see it in detail. For example, we have to list an employees in an organization. Then we will use array. List of products and their cost sold by a store. Then we will use array. Test scores of a class of a students. So these are the examples why we use array. So there are two types of array. First is one-dimensional array, which is known as vectors, and second is two-dimensional array, which is known as matrix or table. So let's see one-dimensional array in detail. So syntax of one-dimensional array is first data type and then array name and size. So the elements of array are specified is known as subscript, that is size. Now we will see this in detail. First we will see the syntax of one-dimensional array. First we have initialized the data type of array. After that we have initialized the array name and the size of the array, which holds the maximum number of elements in that array. Now what is the initialization of one-dimensional array is int marks 5 86921. Okay, so in int marks is a array name, and in which we have 5 integers, that is 86921. How we will use this array in another way is int marks and then the values of marks. So how this marks will look into our memory, we will see. So at position 1, so A0, 0 is a subscript or index in C++. Subscript is always start with 0 and cannot be negative. So when we look into the memory at position 0, what the value of A0, which is 8. At A1 we have the value 6. So likewise all the array elements will be shown in our memory. So far we have been seen declaring simple variables, that is int I. It is also possible to declare an array of several elements. An array is a variable that can hold more than one value. So let's see the another example of array, that is char. We have char data type. In that we have one array which has name A and which has 8 values. And in character array always at the end null value will be there. So whenever we initialize our character array, we will include 0 or null at the end. It will automatically, compiler will automatically add null at the end. So let's see, when a compiler sees a character array, it adds a null character at the end. So while declaring a character array, we must allow one extra element space character in character array. So let's see this in detail. We have also included another example like int A 100 B 27. So whenever we want to define multiple arrays of same type, then we will use this type of syntax. Likewise, in variables, when we have initialized variables at the first, so at that time we have, what we have done is int I, then j, and with a comma operator. So let's see this in detail. First we will see the working of 1D array. So what we have simply done over here is, first we have include our IOStream. We have initialized one array name A with 5 elements, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have used for loop. Why we have used for loop? Because to iterate the elements of array and show to the user. So in for loop, what we have done is I initialize with 0. Why we have used I with initialize with 0? Because array elements in our compiler always start with 0 index and I is less than 5. So 0 to 4 will be executed. But what we will see in the output, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can represent the array up with a picture like this. Each value in an array is called an element. So the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are the values of the element A5. So whenever we will execute this program, the output of this program is like this. So let's see two-dimensional arrays. A two-dimensional array in C++ is a collection of one-dimensional array. It contains of rows and columns and looks like a table. A 2D array is also known as matrix. So why we use two-dimensional arrays. So if we want to fetch the column and row of the particular element, then we will use two-dimensional arrays. And in one-dimensional arrays, we have only one single row. So collection of one-dimensional array is known as two-dimensional array. Now let's see the declaration and initialization of two-dimensional array. First we have int table, that is 2 and 3. So what is 2? 2 is a row and 3 is column. And we initialize 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and after the value of after that the compiler will automatically initialize 0 if the values are missing in our initialization. So if the values are missing in an initializer, they are automatically set to 0. For instance, the statement in table 2 to 3. So 2 rows and 3 column. So in first, we will initialize first 2 elements of first row, and first is first, and in the second element we have 2 as a row and 0 as another row. When all the elements are to be initialized to 0, then the shortcut method is int m35 and all the elements will be 0. Let's see how two-dimensional array work in our compiler. First, how we will see that accessing array components. Float size 5 row and third column 25.69. So how this work in our compiler? See, you can see the picture below. First we have 0, 1, 2, 3. In third column we have fifth row, that is 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, that is fifth. In fifth and third column we have 25.69 as our fifth row and third column. I hope now you get the idea how the two-dimensional array works. So let's see our example of two-dimensional array. First we will include our IO stream. After that, in int main, first we have initialized our array, and then so in the above image you have seen that we have 4 rows and 2 column. In that we have elements 10, 11, 20, 21, 30, 31, 40, 41. So in the first row and column, it always start with 0 index. We firstly initialize 2D array, that is 4 and 2. After that we try to print the respective array using 2 for loops. The outer for loop is used for iteration of rows, while the another, that is inner for loop, is used to iteration of column. So for each iteration of the outer loop, I increases with plus and takes us to the next 1D array. Also the inner loop becomes over the whole 1D array at a time. So and accordingly we print the individual element of array I to j. And hope now you will get the idea how two-dimensional array work. So first we will print cout, printing a 2D array, and after that we have initialized one outer for loop, and that we have initialize I variable with 0 and I is less than 4. So what this will do is 0 to 4 we will see in the compiler, and in the inner for loop the size of for loop is 0, starting with 0 and end with 2. So likewise, when we use this program, the output of the program will be 10 and then 11, 20 and 21, 30 and 31, 40 and 41 likewise. I hope now you get the idea about how two-dimensional array will work. In the next lecture, we will see how strings works in C++, how we manipulate strings using string functions, and how string is different from array. And after that, we will look into the pointers in detail. Thank you for watching video.
स्वाध्यायः परः